Bandeham Shri Guru Shiyata Parakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavam Sya Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raganatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Sabadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Paran Sahagana Lalita Shivishikam Vitam Sya Om Jnana Timarandasya Yananchana Shalakaya Chakshurun Milidam Yena Tasman Shri Gurave Namah Gurva Bishtam Supurakam Gurgana Rasisha Sambhushitam Chintya Chintya Samasta Veda Nipanam Shri Rupa Patanagam Govindam Vidam Ujwalam Varatanum Bhakyan Vidam Sundaram Bande Vishwa Kuruncha Bande Vishwa Guruncha Divyad Bhagavad Premno Ibija Pradam Devam Divyatanum Suchandavaranam Balarka Chelanchitam Sandrananda Puram Sadekavaranam Vairagya Vidyam Buddhim Sri Siddhanta Nidim Subhakti Lasitam Saraswatanam Baram Bandetam Shubharam Madeka Sharanam Nyashishwara Sridharam Vanshakopatarubyascha Kripasindu Bhyevacha Patitanam Pavanibhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Namo Mahabharanyaya Krishna Prema Pranayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namane Gauratavishe Namah. So we're hearing from Srimad Bhagavad Gita, the hidden treasure of the sweet absolute, with translation and commentary by Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Dev-Goswami Maharaj. This is chapter 7, Jñana-Vijñana Yoga, knowledge and realization of the Supreme. And we're on verse number 24. Avyaktam vyaktim apanam manyante mam abudaya parambhavam ajananto mama vyayam anutamam. Avyaktam vyaktim apanam manyante mam abudaya parambhavam ajananto mama vyayam anutamam. My eternal super excellent nature, my form, qualities, activities, and pastimes are all transcendental, but unwise persons cannot know the truth, and they think the formless Brahman took birth in Vasudeva's cell as an ordinary human being. So my eternal super excellent nature, my form, qualities, activities, and pastimes are all transcendental. But unwise persons cannot know the truth, and they think the formless Brahman took birth in Vasudeva's cell as an ordinary human being. So this verse, a little bit of parallel structure to the verse Avajananti Mammudha Manushim Tanamashraya Ashrita. Then it goes, Avajanti Mammudha Manushim Tanamashrita Parambhava Majananto Mama Bhuta Maheshwaram. So it's also Parambhava Majananto, something similar in construction. And it's talking about the misconception of who is Sri Krishna, who is the Lord. And he's saying they think that from the avyakta, from the unmanifested, I have manifested myself. And because actually this is an impersonalist view of what is divinity. They're thinking that everything is ultimately Brahman or spirit, and it has no form and no qualities. And that formless Brahman has, according to their interpretations, come shrouded in the mode of goodness and taken a material form. And that material form is the so-called personality. But actually, they don't know what is divine personality. They don't know that real personality, especially involving the Lord, we know that the Lord's nature is infinite. He's Satchidananda, And the Jiva souls are Satchidananda, but the Lord hasn't taken a material body. His body is completely spiritual, and his senses are all completely spiritual. His mind, everything about the Lord is divine. It is all of the nature, that he is the supreme divine being. He's the supreme, as Prabhupada and Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur would put it, he's the supreme personality of Godhead. And that God or divinity has form, has qualities, is a person, has personality, everything. But the average class of persons, the so-called spiritualists, they're all completely tied to this misunderstanding that those who come as the Lord or as avatars are actually possessed of the material modes of nature, perhaps the mode of goodness when they come. But this is all offensive mentality, actually, when you come down to it. They commit offenses to the divine form of the Lord. And they think that when the Lord, and sometimes in the Upanishads, etc., when it talks about the Lord has no hands or legs, but they think that this means that the Lord has no form, because he's saying he has no hands or legs. But this is only to emphasize, when it says that in the Upanishads, it's saying that his legs and his hands are not like our legs and hands. They're not mundane flesh and blood hands or legs, that he has no material form, but he does have spiritual form. So this is stated here very clearly in Bhagavad Gita to dispel any misconceptions. He's not coming avyakta vyaktimapanam. He's not getting his form from the avyakta, unmanifested nature. He's not from the tatastha plane. He's not coming from that which is not possessed of form. He has always eternally existed. My eternal, super excellent nature, my form, qualities, activities, and pastimes are all transcendental, but unwise persons cannot know the truth. And they think the formless Brahman took birth in Vasudeva's cell as an ordinary human being. And rather, we will see that with Krishna, that four things are of his eternal nature: Nam, Rupa, Guna, and Lila. His name, his form, his divine pastimes or activities, and his divine qualities. They're all of that eternal supreme nature. But people cannot know this. Why? Because this was stated in the conversation between Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya and Gopinathacharya. Then unless one is favored by the Lord, one cannot know him. His devotees can know him, but he cannot be known by any, persons, how can we say them? We could say, he's not going to be known by any street spiritualist. Those who are just spiritualists who are living as itinerant beggars and dressing themselves in so-called spiritual garb. He won't be known by them. They actually have no nature, no understanding of the Lord. So then I'll continue. Naham prakasha sarvasya yoga maya samavrita mudoyam nabhijanati loko mam ajam avyayam. Naham prakasha sarvasya yoga maya samavrita mudoyam nabhijanati loko mam ajam avyayam. My sweet will, remaining concealed by my own potency, by my sweet will, remaining concealed by my own potency, I am not manifest to anyone and everyone. So the foolish cannot know me, the son of Vasudeva, unborn and ever existent in my divine Shyam-Sundar form, a beautiful feature like a blackish rain cloud. By my sweet will, remaining concealed by my own potency, I am not manifest to anyone and everyone. So the foolish cannot know me, the son of Vasudeva, unborn and ever existent in my divine Shyam-Sundar form of beautiful feature like a blackish rain cloud. So yes, in fact, Krishna previously, in previous appearances, or if you want to use the word incarnation, I don't exactly like the word incarnation because it contains the word karne, in the flesh. But Krishna is not coming in the flesh. He's coming as an avatar or as avatari. But in any event, he came, and he had previously been accepted. Vasudeva and Devaki has accepted them in previous births or previous appearances. He had accepted them as his parents. But to announce that he is the Lord, he came, with all the garb of when he appeared in the cell. Everyone was put to sleep by the Yoga Maya potency, and he appeared as in a Vishnu form, four-handed, full head, full hair, Keshava. He's appearing like that in the jail of Nanda Maharaj, and he has the appearance of Vishnu. So there's no doubt, that this child born, with fully dressed, full hair and forearm forms, they know that that's the Supreme Lord, and they're stunned by Yoga Maya. Just as we see that in the pastime with Mother Yashoda, when Krishna opened his mouth and revealed within his mouth to her during his pastimes the universal form and all the beings within his mouth appearing everything, the whole cosmic creation, then Mother Yashoda became overcome with what's called this sense of awe and reverence, and it interfered with her natural relationship with Krishna. So anyway, first Krishna appeared to Vasudeva and Devaki, and then later they asked him, Kamsa's on the lookout for you and everything. So then Krishna went from that forearm form. He showed himself as baby Krishna, as his natural two-arm form in bluish, or as it says here, like a rain cloud. Let's see, here it says, Naham prakasha sarvasya yoga maya samavrita. Remaining concealed by my own potency. So even though they saw Vishnu, and even though he showed the universal form to Mother Yashoda, at that time he was concealed by his Yoga Maya because it actually interfered with their natural flow of affection to the Lord, because they were overcome by awe and reverence. But to everyone else, he's concealed by his Yoga Maya potency. And so the foolish cannot know me, the son of Vasudeva, unborn and ever existed in my Shyam-Sundar form, a beautiful feature like a blackish rain cloud. But as we've stated from Brahma Samhita, the Premanjana Churita Bhakti Vilochanena Santa Sadaiva Hridayeshu Valokayanti Yam Shama Sundaram Achintya Guna Swarupam Govindamadi Parusham Tamaham Bhajami. That when one's eyes are covered with the ointment of prema, of Krishna prema, of love of Godhead, then one can see, we can say not only the form of Shyam-Sundar, but we could say the form of of Radha Shyam Sundar within one's heart all the time, which, should be pleasing also to hear that. The devotees in London, they worship Shri Guru Garanga Radha Shyam Sundar on their altar. But this way, Yam Shama Sundaram Achintya Guna Svarupam Govindamadi Parusham Tamaham Bhajami. One can see within one's form that, within one's heart, that Shyam Sundar form, that Shyam Sundar ever existing in one's heart. We know the Lord's in our heart. We're there, Atma Paramatma, but in this case, more than Paramatma. It's the supreme form of Shyam Sundar that the devotees see when their eyes are covered with the ointment of love of God. Vedaham samatitani vartamanani charjuna bhavishyani cha bhutani mam tu veda nakaschana Vedaham samatitani vartamani Vedaham samatitani vartamanani charjuna bhavishyani cha bhutani mam tu veda nakaschana Vedaham samatitani vartamanani charjuna bhavishyani cha bhutani mam tu veda nakaschana. O Arjuna, I know all living beings of the past, present, and future, but no one can know me in truth. So we also know that Krishna can award one. It is said that whether one is without any material desires or one is full of material desires, in whatever state of being one is, one should worship the Supreme Lord. So, persons can approach the Lord. And we also see that many people do come to the Lord for the satisfaction of their material desires, or even, we can say, when they worship the demigods, as we've heard previously, they're indirectly worshiping the Lord, because whatever boon the demigods give is also being allowed by Krishna. But actually, it is said that many persons will, for one reason or another, worship the Lord or take up some quest for worshiping the Lord, but he doesn't so easily give pure devotional service to one, because only by devotional service is Krishna bound up. He's bound up by his devotees' love. He becomes captured by his devotees' love. So, as he says, that only, he says, Bhaktya mama vijanati yavanyas chasmi tatvada tato mam tatvato gyatva vishate tadanantaram. Only by, is that right? Is that the right presentation? Bhakti mam abhijanati yavanyas chasmi tatvata tato mam tatvato gyatva vishate tadanantaram. That when one is, we've heard the explanation by Srila Sridhar Maharaj, that when one can know the Lord by bhakti, only then can one enter into the family of the Lord. There are the qualities of surrender, and one of the qualities of surrender is Goptrit Vevaranam, which has been said to accept the Lord as one's guardian, but it also means to enter into the family of the Lord. So then we would say, to really know the Lord, one has to be a surrendered soul, and only the Lord's real devotees will be surrendered souls. As we know of the qualities of surrender, that's you can say humility, accepting everything favorable to the service of the Lord, rejecting everything unfavorable to the service of the Lord. I said in the beginning, being a humble soul, or as we hear in Sikshastika, Trinada Pisuni Chena Taroariva Saishnuna Amanina Manadena Kirtaniya Sadahari. humility, offering respect to others, and tolerance. So humility is a quality of surrender. Obviously, someone who's surrendered to the Lord, they must be in a humble position, accepting everything favorable for the service of the Lord, rejecting everything unfavorable for the service of the Lord, feeling oneself to be always protected by the Lord, Goprit Vevaranam, entering into the family of the Lord, and Atmanivedana or Atmanikshep, that depending on everything one has, depending on the Lord and offering the Lord one's words, thoughts, actions, whatever, everything one has will be surrendered to the Lord. So in that way the Lord can be known. He says, I know all beings of the past, present, and future, but no one can know me in truth. So the Lord will only be the property of those who are his surrendered souls, as far as, otherwise, without bhakti, no one can possibly know the Lord. And why? Because he gives himself to his devotees. It's only by Krishna's sweet will that one can know him. There was some discussion by Srila Sridhar Maharaj with the Arya Samaj, and someone argued, if the infinite can be known by the finite, then he wouldn't be infinite. Or if the finite could know the infinite, he wouldn't be infinite. And then Srila Sridhar Maharaj said, if the infinite cannot reveal himself to the finite or give himself to the finite, then he would not be infinite. So not by our own mental gymnastics or so-called spiritual gymnastics or spiritual, as the Mayavadis, we would say spiritual jugglery of words, they can't know the Lord. No one can know the Lord. Only the Lord, if he will show himself to his devotee, then they can know him. Okay. Icha dvesha samutena dvandva mohena bharata sarva bhutani sammoham sarge yanti parantapa. Icha dvesha samutena dvandva mohena bharata sarva bhutani sammoham sarge yanti parantapa. O Arjuna, O Arjuna, chastiser of the enemy, at the manifestation of the universe, all beings become deluded by duality based on likes and dislikes. O Arjuna, chastiser of the enemy, at the manifestation of the universe, all beings become deluded by duality based on likes and dislikes. Icha dvesha samutena dvandva mohena, by duality, by the illusion of duality, icha dvesha samutena, arising from likes and dislikes. So, icha dvesha samutena dvandva mohena bharata sarva bhutani sammoham sarge yanti parantapa. So, we're living in a world of duality, and this is the illusion of the living entities. They are accepting happiness and distress, heat and cold. What is it? The Bhaja Huremana, what is it saying? Sita atapa bata varishana yite hiachipara titire. Then Sita atapa bata varishana yite hiachipara titire. So I'm suffering in this world of heat and cold, happiness and distress. So many dualities. pleasure and pain. And what's the next verse involving kripana? Durlab, kripana durajana bhajahun hariparaniti. No, the verse of, I see. Anyway, I'm serving kripanas, I'm serving persons who are, my mind sometimes goes blank. Let's see. Let me just go through that again. Vajahure mana shinandanandana aboya chanarnara vindare durlabha manava janama satsange daraho ebava sindure sita atapa bata varishana yiteki achiparati tire kamala dala jala jivana talamala bhajahun haripara nitire. No, that's the next verse, isn't it? Edana yovana putra parijana iti kiachi para titere kamala dala jala jivana talamala bhajahun haripara nitire. So the second verse is Sita atapa bata varishana ite kiachi para titire something kripana durajana chapala sukha lobai lagi re. So what becomes before kripana durajana? Bifali sevinu kripana durajana. Iteki achi parati tere. So I'm basically serving kripanas, miserly men, so they'll provide me with a little bit of this chapala sukha, this material happiness. So, in the form of money or whatever. But I'm living in this world of duality all the time. And I'm constantly complaining about this duality. Just like in the Gita elsewhere it says acceptance and rejection, you know. I'm going through the cycle of bhog tyag. I'm going through enjoyment, and then I'm going through rejection of enjoyment. When I'm satiated with something, then I reject it. You know, and I see that in this world, somebody, especially in modern society, somebody gets married and they're very enamored with each other, and then later comes this period of satiation, especially if they're living in close quarters. And then all of a sudden there's some disagreement. But, you know, it's always coming acceptance and rejection. And it's all based on, then, just like as Srila Govinda Maharaj remarked, everyone's looking for happiness, no one's looking for distress, but distress comes uninvited. And then, when distress comes, you know, what can we do about it? We're looking for happiness, but we're getting just the opposite result. I accepted this for my happiness, and the result I got was the opposite. I became greatly unhappy. And that happens all the time. I'm happy with something, and then I become sad. I have some object of my enjoyment, but when the object looking for my enjoyment happens, then when after the first period of enjoyment happens, then I become distressed. You know, for instance, I purchase something and then it doesn't work according to my expectations, and then I'm very upset. And as it also says in the Bhagavad Gita, I want, and then I lost. We're never happy. And the nature of so-called happiness in this world, it's actually like trying to satisfy ourselves by searching after the objects of our senses, and just increases our mundane desires, and it's like pouring gas on a fire. That will never satisfy it. So anyway, here we are. Arjuna, chastiser of the enemy, at the manifestation of the universe, all beings become deluded by duality based on likes and dislikes. So, as we heard Srila Govindamar said, you're looking for happiness, but you're finding distress. You didn't look for distress. So why don't you begin to think that I'm looking for something, and I'm also getting the duality. I'm getting the happiness that I look for, but I'm also getting unhappiness. So, but that unhappiness is coming unsought. So why don't you look for something that doesn't come in a duality package? Why don't you look for something that, for instance, like your own eternal spiritual life. Why don't you look for that? Why don't you look for devotion? Why don't you look for service? Why do you look for something that will put you more deeply immersed in the world of duality? Anyway, just my comments on this verse. And 28. Yesham tvantagatam papam jananam punya karmanam te dvandva mohan nirmukta bhajanti mam dhridavrata. But the performers of virtuous deeds are purified of all sin by the fortune of association with my pure devotees. Thus freed from the delusion of duality, they worship me with firm resolve. But the performers of virtuous deeds are purified of all sin by the fortune of association with my pure devotees. Thus freed from the illusion of duality, they worship me with firm resolve. So, they worship me with dhridavrata. They worship me with fixed consciousness. So Krishna also says that 4 kinds of virtuous persons, as he's mentioned in this chapter, he mentions 4 kinds of virtuous persons come to him. One is the person, he's saying that the person who's looking for, basically, artha kama, what is it? The 4 considerations. Dharma, artha, kama, and moksha. These persons possessed of these desires will start to come, they're at least sukritina. They're at least virtuous souls. And they'll come to the Lord. They're looking because they're looking for the Lord out of dharma, out of a sense of, they're coming to the Lord that out of a sense of dharma or of a sense of religiosity. Then there are persons who are coming to the Lord for the sense of artha, they're economically distressed. And then there are persons who coming to the Lord for dharma, artha, kama, moksha. So some persons are coming also for a factor of enjoyment. And let me see, and also, well, I'm thinking specifically where Mahaprabhu says, "Na dhanam, na janam, na sundarim, kavitam vajagadishai kamai, mama janmani janmanishvari, bhavatad bhaktir haitu kitvai." So normally the Vedas are concerned with dharma, artha, kama, and moksha. With it, religiosity, this is one of the purusharthas of the Vedas, a goal of the Vedas, is religiosity. Then comes economic development, which we see are closely related. People are praying for their daily sustenance from the Lord. They're religiously minded, but they want the Lord to help them to survive in this world. So they're praying to the Lord for sustenance, dharmartha, and then comes kama, for enjoyment. And then comes moksha, they want relief from material existence. So Krishna elsewhere, he says that Chaturveda bhajanti mam jana sukritino Arjuna arto jigyasur artarti gyanicha bharatarshaba. He says these four kinds of worshippers, O Arjuna, best of the Bhartas, four kinds of persons have the fortune to worship me: the afflicted, the seeker of knowledge, the seeker of happiness, and the self-realized, which in this case is said to be, is equating the self-realized to those who are jnanis, looking for self-realization. So, but they haven't yet, these four persons haven't yet found anything. They're pious by nature, but they come to the Lord, whereas the four impious persons don't come to the Lord, which is mentioned in the previous verse. Namam duskritino mudha prapadyante naradama maya parita jnana suram bhavamashrita. Those who are mudhas, or just foolish asses. Namam duskritino mudha prapadyante naradama, lowest of mankind, or those interested in everything except spiritual development. Namam duskritino mudha prapadyante naradama maya parita jnanam. All their knowledge is stoned by illusion. And asuram bhavamashrita, simply demons. They don't come to the Lord, they're impious. But these four kinds of persons come to the Lord who are pious. Those who are, how is it worded here? The afflicted, the seeker of knowledge, the seeker of happiness, and the self-realized. So dharmartha kama moksha, you can say like that. Mahaprabhu says, I don't want any of these things. But that's another level. That's the level of, these four persons have come to look for something. They're looking for knowledge. They're looking for, they're curious. They're the four kinds of persons. I keep on saying them, and I keep on thinking of them in terms of this. Anyway, those who are the afflicted, the seeker of knowledge, the seeker of happiness, and the self-realized. So, all right, dharmartha kama moksha. These, the persons who are in these categories, they are coming to look for the Lord, which is supposedly the goal of the Vedas. Those who are afflicted, those who are seekers of knowledge, seekers of happiness, and the self-realized. But they in themselves, you can say, they haven't got anything yet, but by their sukriti, they're coming in contact with the devotees, and by the contact with the devotees, they're entering into devotional service, and then they can but the performers of virtuous deeds are purified of all sin by the fortune of association with my pure devotee. Thus freed from the illusion of duality, they worship me with firm resolve. So they have sukriti. They have sukriti, and they come in contact with the Lord's devotees. And they have the sukriti, they're in these categories. But when they come in contact with the devotees, based on their sukriti, then they can also come to the level of pure devotional service. Anyway, somewhat. Jara marana mokshaya mam ashritya yatantiye te brahma tadvidu kritsnam adyatmam karma chikilam jaramanana mokshaya mam ashritya yatantiye te brahma tadvidu kritsnam adyatmam karma chakilam. Those who strive for freedom from the world of disease and death, placing their trust and devotion in me, they know Brahman, they know the soul, and they know karma, the action that binds the soul again and again to this mundane plane of suffering. So, those who strive for freedom from the world of disease and death, that seems to be an applicable situation. Those who are striving for freedom from the world of disease and death, it seems to be at the present something of a world preoccupation at this time of so-called pandemic. I would say the pandemic is material existence on a broader level. That's a pandemic, but, I mean, we may die from some disease, but there are other ways of dying, so material existence in itself is a pandemic. But we won't go into that. Those who strive for freedom from the world of disease and death, placing their trust and devotion in me, they know Brahman, they know the soul, and they know karma, the action that binds the soul again and again to this mundane plane of suffering. Yes, they have. They get all realization to go beyond this material world. They know what is Brahman, and they know what is Para-Brahman. They know what is the Supreme Spirit. They know what is spirituality. They know the existence. Brahma Bhuta Prashanatmana Shochatina Kankshati Samasarveshu Bhuteshu Mad Bhaktim Labhate Param. That when one comes to the Brahma Bhuta platform, when one comes to that platform, Mad Bhaktim Labhate Param, then devotion begins. So the devotees certainly know what is Brahman, what is the Jiva soul, or what is soul, what is karma, what is binding actions of the soul, and again to this mundane. They know these things, and they go beyond these things. They go beyond this by placing their trust and devotion in the Lord. Their devotion will take them that they have seen this and they've gone beyond it. So, Sadi Bhuta Di Daivam Mam Sadi Yagyam Chadye Vidu Prayana Kale Picha Mam Te Vidur Yukta Chedasa Sadi Bhuta Di Daivam Mam Sadi Yagyam Chadye Vidu Prayana Kale Picha Mam Te Vidur Yukta Chedasa. And those who know me in relation to the worldly plane, the celestial plane, and the plane of sacrifice, such persons, their consciousness absorbed in me, know me even at the time of death. Afflicted in the face of fearful death, they do not forget me. And those who know me in relation to the worldly plane, the celestial plane, and the plane of sacrifice, such persons, their consciousness absorbed in me, know me even at the time of death. Afflicted in the face of fearful death, they do not forget me. So this is a good reminder. Sometimes it exists this very, very mundane and terrible consciousness that people will think, I will put devotion, I will put surrender, I will put engagement in spiritual life off till I'm old and invalid. Because right now I'm enjoying and I can't be bothered by, absorbing myself in devotion. I'm too busy now. Many people think like that. There was once an example when some persons came to the Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mutt, and they were young, and some of the people actually staying there, who was obviously old, they told them, why are you here? You're young. You have the whole world, your whole life and the whole world to engage in. Why are you here? Why have you come to the Mutt? That was the greeting they were given. That you are young. Why have you bothered to come here? Because I guess some persons were older and they're thinking that young persons need not apply. And sometimes persons who are involved in devotion, they want to hold people to a criteria that they never themselves had to go through. When many persons came to the mission, whether it was with Srila Prabhupada or Srila Sridhar Maharaj or Srila Govinda Maharaj, they weren't demanded that they be fully surrendered souls immediately. But with time, by the association of devotees, one will get that. One will come to that position. That's what's being said here in this chapter. That's what's being said, that by the association of devotees, one's consciousness will be changed. And as I said before, Srila Sridhar Maharaj has said that everything is known according to its potential. So we heard that when Acharya Maharaj came to the mission, he was asked, what is your tendency? Is it, towards Gaura worship or to Krishna worship? And he said to Srila Govinda Maharaj, I don't know who is Krishna. I do not know who is Mahaprabhu. Of course, he did know something because he was brought up in that culture. He's a Bengali. But he says, I do not know who is Krishna. I do not know who is Mahaprabhu. I only know you, Gurudev. That was his answer. I only know you. So, initially, and of course, he said that, this is my interest to serve you. That is my desire. So someone may come as Govinda Maharaj came, and Guru Maharaj asked him, are you here to stay? Can you stay here? And Govinda Maharaj said yes. And then Guru Maharaj told Govinda Maharaj, and can you follow what I say and not follow your own mind? And Govinda Maharaj said yes. So, in the beginning, one may not be fully cognizant of every aspect of devotion, but by the association of the devotees and by the desire of Gurudev and by his sweet mercy, one will get all those things. One will get so. But generally, many, and that is our remembrance that we came with very little. Tadvidi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadekshanti te jnanam jnaninas tatvadarshina. We came, pranipat, to surrender ourselves to the divine will of the Lord and Gurudev. We came to surrender ourselves. We gave pariprashnena. We asked some questions. In which way can I serve? And pariprashnena sevaya. Then we engaged ourselves in service. So from there, people continue on the path of devotion, and as they progress, more and more illumination comes into their lives. At first they have that desire and to serve, and then everything will come to them. And those who know me in relation to the worldly plane, the celestial plane, and the plane of sacrifice, such persons, their consciousness absorbed in me, know me, even at the time of death. Afflicted in the face of fearful death, they do not forget me. And the Lord will give that consciousness to his devotee. And it said, even if the devotee at the time of death cannot remember the Lord will remember his devotee. Hanshamil was being dragged off by the Yamadutas, but he called for help from his son, Narayan, and somehow or other, the Vishnu Dutas appeared there, being, obviously, Ajamil has some sukriti, and the Vishnu Dutas told told the Yamadutas, please leave. He's chanting the holy name. And if you can't understand why, go ask your master, Yamaraj, which they did. Yamaraj told them, don't bother the devotees who are chanting the holy name. One can say he was calling his son, but still maybe it wasn't chanting. It was, it is Namabash. It's not chanting purely, but neither did he die at that time. He then went to Hardwar and then served the Lord. But we're given the chance to serve, and then at the time of death, nope. And one will continue, as it said, even if one's unsuccessful yogi or talks about that, still one will continue with one's spiritual advancement. But actually, who's a surrendered soul, they won't forget the Lord at the time of death. I'm hoping I can become a surrendered soul. But anyway, so then, now I will read here. Iti Shri Mahabharate Shatasahasriyam Samhitayam Vayasakyam Bhishma Parvani Srimad Bhagavad Gita Supanishatsu Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Shastre Sri Krishna Arjuna Samvade Jñana-Vijñana Yoga Nama Saptamodhyaya. End of chapter 7. Knowledge and realization of the Supreme from the conversation of Sri Krishna and Arjuna in Srimad Bhagavad Gita Upanishad, the Yoga scripture of transcendental knowledge, and Bhishma Parva of the Sri Mahabharata, the holy scripture revealed by Srila Vyasadeva in 100,000 verses. So this is the end of chapter 7 now. Okay. Oh, I'm not singing with Kartos into the microphone. Or I also, this microphone got buried. I wonder if the sound is okay. Hariharaya Nama Krishna Jadavaya Nama
Hariharaya Nama Krishna Jadavaya Nama
Jadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Nama Gopal Govinda Ram Shri Madhusudan Giridhari Gopinatha Marana Mohan Sri Chaitanya Nityananda Sri Advaita Chandra Gadadhara Shiva Sadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jai Rupa Sanatam Bhatta Raguna Shri Jiva Gopala Bhatta Dasa Raguna H.I. Gosai Kori Charana Vanan Jaite Vignana Shabishta Puran H.I. Gosai Jarmui Taradas Dasabar Padarenu Mora Panchagras Kader Charana Sevi Bhakta Saniban Janame Janame More Abhilas H.I. Gosai Jabe Braje Koilavas Radha Krishna Nitya Lila Korila Prakash Anande Bolo Hari Bhaja Vrindavan Shri Guru Vaishnava Pade Majaya Man Shri Guru Vaishnava Pad Padma Koriyas Harinam Sankirtana Kohe Narathamunas Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare 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 Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Nitai Gora Haribo, 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 Haribo. Nitai Gora Haribo, 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 Haribo. Jai Saparikara Shishi Guru Guranga Gandharvika Giridhara Ju Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Paravajaka Charyashta Tara Sadashi Srimad Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Paravajaka Charyashta Tara Sadashi Srimad Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Bhagavan Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Thakur Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Srila Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Srila Satchidananda Bhakti Vinod Thakur Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Vaishnava Sarvabhauma Srila Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai. Rupanuga Guru Bharga Ki Jai. Namachari Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Shri Rupa Sanatana Bhatta Raghunath Shri Jiva Gopal Bhatta Dasha Raghunath Shad Goswami Prabhu Ki Jai. Premsigo Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Shri Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Srila Vishvavaranya Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Srila Bhakti Nirmal Acharya Maharaj Ki Jai. Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat Ki Jai. Soquel Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Seva Ashram Ki Jai. Shishi Radha Krishna Gopi Govardhan Sham Kuna Radha Kunda Kalindi Amona Jul Ki Jai. Samaveda Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Shri Hari Nam Sankirtan Ki Jai. All the assembled devotees Ki Jai. Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol.
Srila Bhakti Pavan Janardan Maharaj Ki Jai.